everybody? It's JT Sports back to you guys with another video. In this video, I'm here with my Buffalo Bills 2019 training camp preview. Going to be previewing the Buffalo Bills training camp, giving you guys some things to look out for, some players to watch when the Buffalo Bills training camp begins. So before I begin this video, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Below NFL videos and NFL content daily. And let's get into it. So the Buffalo Bills. I think if you guys haven't seen, I think the Buffalo Bills are the biggest sleeper going into this year's NFL season, and I really like their roster. And the first person we have to talk about is Josh Allen. Now, obviously, the Buffalo Bills' success is going to depend on how much Josh Allen improves over the 2019 NFL season. So during training camp, I'm just going to be looking out for articles talking about his development, his growth, how much he has improved over last season, and also his accuracy, because his accuracy was a big issue last season, which a lot of people knew it was going to be when he came out during the 2019 NFL draft. The biggest knock on him was his accuracy, and last year he only completed 52% of his passes, but his wide receivers didn't help him out a lot either. So Josh Allen is definitely going to be somebody who I'm going to be looking out for during training camp. His improvement, how better he gets as a pocket passer, because he was very athletic, what a lot of people were giving him credit for. He surprised me a lot with his athleticism. So if he's able to develop a solid ability to throw from inside the pocket, I think he has potential to be very, very good. And I think this Buffalo Bills team is going to be good depending on how good Josh Allen is going to be. So obviously Josh Allen is a guy who I'm going to be looking forward to watching during training camp for the Buffalo Bills. Next up, we have the halfback position, because the Buffalo Bills have a loaded halfback group. They have LaShawn McCoy, Devin Singletary, the rookie out of FAU, Frank Gore, Sonoris Perry, and Christian Wade. They also have T.J. Yeldon as well. So it's going to be interesting to find out how these Buffalo Bills are going to get their carries, how they're going to split time, because LaShawn McCoy and Frank Gore, we know that those two guys are going to get on the field. But what about Devin Singletary and TJ Yeldon? Because that's going to be something I'm going to be watching throughout training camp. And it's something that we're not really going to see an answer for until midway through the NFL season. That's when we mostly see the NFL teams start going and figuring out who gets how many carries and whatnot. And that's really when we're going to see the answer to that question. But I'm going to be looking out for that during training camp, because I think it's very interesting, because you have LaShawn McCoy, you have Frank Gore, then you have younger halfbacks like a Devin Singletary and like a TJ Yeldon. TJ Yeldon, he's a veteran, but he's still pretty young. He's pretty young when we look at his age. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting to figuring out who's going to be getting how many carries, who's going to be taking the first team reps during training camp, who's going to be getting the second team reps, who's going to be the odd man out. So that's going to be pretty interesting to monitor throughout training camp for the Buffalo Bills. Now, LaShawn McCoy, he's not the same player that he was a few seasons ago. He did show a little bit of regression last season, but mostly that was due to injuries. And with Frank Gore being there, it's going to be interesting how those two split carries. I think most of those guys are going to get the buckload of carries for the Buffalo Bills. Then you got a guy like a Devin Singletary. It's going to be interesting to figure out if they're going to find a way to work him into the offense this season. And then we had T.J. Yeldon. T.J. Yeldon is a very unique halfback. He offers a lot to the Buffalo Bills that all the halfbacks on the roster don't have to offer, and that's his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and catching the ball, period. I think he's probably the best pass catcher that they have on their team. So it's going to be interesting to figure out which of these halfbacks is going to be able to get the boatload of carries, and who's going to be that number one halfback this season for the Buffalo Bills. Who's going to be that halfback number two? Who's going to be that halfback number three? And who's going to be the odd man out this season for the Buffalo Bills at that halfback position? Next up, I want to talk about the wide receiver position. So the wide receiver position is going to be something I'm going to be watching very, very closely. John Brown, Zay Jones, Cole Beasley, Ray McLeod, Robert Foster. So they have a very intriguing group of wide receivers. Now, obviously, the wide receiving group was one of the worst wide receiving groups in all the NFL. All you just got to do is type in Buffalo Bills receivers, and you're going to see a 5 to 6 minute video of nothing but drops from Buffalo Bills wide receivers. So it's going to be really interesting to see how improved this wide receiving core is. Now, John Brown and Cole Beasley, they're not not necessarily any flashy signings, but they're an improvement because they're very reliable. They have very solid hands, and they're going to give Josh Allen some reliable targets, some reliable receivers to throw to down the field. And his receivers had a lot of drops last season, so now they actually have some consistency there. And Ray McLeod, he's going to be a guy who I'm really interested in seeing. And I haven't really heard a bunch from him. So I'm really going to be keeping my tabs on him this offseason to see what he does during training camp and preseason. Zay Jones is another guy. A lot of people, a lot of Buffalo Bills fans are really high on Zay Jones. He showed a lot of flashes of potential last season. He was pretty much Josh Allen's most reliable and best wide receiver that he had on their roster last season. So they got a very solid group of wide receivers. Also, Robert Foster as well. A lot of Buffalo Bills fans have been telling me to don't sleep on him as well. So the wide receiver position is something that I'm going to be watching throughout training camp. And next up, the offensive line. Now, the offensive line is really improved. You got Mitch Morse, you got Spencer Long, you got Cody Ford, you got Quentin Spain. You also got Deion Dawkins as well. So that offensive line is going to be really interesting to watch. Very improved. I don't really know who's going to be. I don't really think any starting off the line jobs are set in stone right now. It's still a little bit, a couple of position battles we're going to have to look out for. But overall, I think this offensive line is going to be very solid. I'm going to be looking at this offensive line during training camp as well. Now we get to the defensive side of the ball. Now here's when things get interesting. I'm looking at the defensive line. I think the defensive line is something that I'm going to be keeping my tabs on. You got Trent Murphy, you got Harrison Phillips, you got Ed Oliver, you got Jerry Hughes. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes open for that defensive line. I think that defensive line for the Buffalo Bills is going to be very, very good this year. Now, they lost Kyle Williams to retirement, so it's going to be interesting seeing how Ed Oliver fills those shoes of Kyle Williams, who is probably one of the most underrated NFL players of the last decade. Very, very solid. So this defensive line is going to be something I'm going to be keeping my tabs on. Obviously, we got to keep our tabs on Jerry Hughes. He's a little bit up there in age, not the same player that he used to be, but I still think he's able to contribute a little bit on the defense side of the ball. He's a guy who can get you 3, 4.5 sacks, but I'm going to be looking for a guy who's a younger, up and coming guy behind Jerry Hughes, who's going to be able to get some playing time and make a name for himself and get a little bit more experience and kind of maybe split reps with Jerry Hughes. Maybe they bring in a situational pass rusher or something like that. So that's going to be something I'm going to be looking forward to seeing from the Buffalo Bills at training camp. Then I'm going to be looking at Tremaine Edmonds. He was a rookie last season. Didn't really have that great of a rookie year according to Pro Football Focus, but I'm looking forward to seeing him improve this season for a training camp. Mostly for him, coverage is pretty much the biggest thing I'm going to be looking forward to seeing out of him. Is he going to be able to develop his ability to cover these tight ends and these halfbacks and stuff like that? So that's going to be something I'm going to be interested in watching because a linebacker that's a good tackler but also very good in coverage is very rare to see in the NFL. A linebacker that can really do it all. So I'm going to be watching to seeing if that element of his game develops. I do think he's going to be better than what he was last season. I don't even think he was that bad last season. I think he was pretty average at best. So I'm going to be looking out for Tremaine Edmonds. He's going to be the linebacker that I'm going to be looking out for. So now I'm going to be giving my players to watch. Obviously, I already said linebacker Tremaine Edmonds going into his second year in the NFL. Then defensive tackle Ed Oliver. I've been saying this for the longest. Ed Oliver is the most explosive, fast, quickest defensive tackle I have seen come into the NFL in a very long time. It's very rare that you see a defensive tackle with this athleticism, this explosiveness going off the line. Because if you watch Houston games, this dude, his explosiveness off the line, as soon as the ball was snapped, it seems like he was already back there making a play in the backfield. So he's a guy that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing in training camp. Can he be able to maintain that success that he had in college at the NFL level? That remains to be seen. We've seen a lot of good defensive linemen in the NFL that were good in college bring that success into the NFL. And we also seen some guys who were good in college but haven't really been able to materialize the same success they have had in college at the NFL level. So Ed Oliver is a guy that I'm going to be watching. And Kevin Johnson. Now, Kevin Johnson was a guy who they brought in from free agency from Houston. He has some potential to be a pretty solid starter, but the thing with him is that he's and able to stay healthy. So that's the thing that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing Kevin Johnson's role on this Buffalo Bills secondary and on this team. So this is it for my Buffalo Bills 2019 training camp preview. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section down below. Also comment what you guys are going to be looking forward to seeing during training camp for the Buffalo Bills also. And also make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.